Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Conversations with Shawna show. I'm so excited for this guest today. Oh my goodness, before I start, if you're coming in from my women's group, click on the link above, just so if you comment and interact with us, we can see who you are. And say hi if you're here live with us. If you're on the replay, give us a hashtag replay so we can shout out to you later and say hi. And for those of you who don't know me, I am a transformational coach, and I work with my clients to help them through fear, doubt, and uncertainty into love, expansions, and opportunities and possibilities. So that's me. And here's my guest today. I'm so excited to introduce you to Kerry Oxford. Kerry, welcome, and thank you for joining me.
Still finding that camera.
I know. That's awesome. Oh, I'm so glad to have you here. And for Kerry is passionate about home maintenance. She grew up in a handy family and learned early how to make her home not just safe, dry, and warm, but also pleasant. Oh, I love that. When Kerry started her first business in home inspection, she quickly learned that many Calgary homeowners don't have basic knowledge of home maintenance. She recognized that homeowners were leaving thousands of dollars on the table when they failed to protect their largest investment, their home. Oh, I love that. We need to talk about that. That's when Kerry teamed up with local designer and custom home builder Angel Iverson of Alternative and funded Nurture My Home. This Calgary startup aims to make home maintenance easy for homeowners through technology and trust. Tech that puts the plan at your fingertips and local professional advice you can trust. I printed my thing off too little, so I do apologize. I was like, my glasses, the glasses, because now I have them, you can read it. I'm like, figure it. So welcome, Kerry. I was just thinking, I met you, I think it was probably 4 years ago at one of the Collaborate Real Estate Investing Network groups we went to. Mm-hmm. And Kerry's amazing. She's a home inspector. And let's talk about your background, because you've helped us a few times with a few of our rent-owned properties. So I'm so grateful for that. So yeah, let's chat a bit about you and what you're passionate about here.
You bet. Well, as you mentioned, I grew up in the DIY household. My parents never bought, even the most recent house, never bought a house that didn't need work. Yeah. And so it was just natural for me. I don't think I understood the point of baseboards for a while, because that's the last thing you do when you're doing a reno, and they seem to never get done. But what I did know is how to lay tile and how to hang drywall. When I was a teenager, that was just the thing you did. And so for me, when something needs to be fixed, I just grab the tools and do it. But I've realized more recently that that's not the case. Started to tune into that when I got married and we bought our first house, my husband and I. We bought a fixer-upper because that's what you do. And my parents helped us to get going in that process. And we got a lot of friends, neighbors, acquaintances saying, hey, you guys are doing this really cool thing, and I wish I knew how to do that. Can you come to my house with your tools and show me? And so we did first think we'd do renovation, but there's lots of reno companies out there. So what we cottoned on to was, how do we actually educate? Because that's what people are looking for. They were asking us, how do we be you? And so first of all, we had better have some good answers for people. We better not be just saying, I know all my stuff, and not knowing it. So that's where home inspection came in. We got to learn a lot more becoming home inspectors about what kind of the expectations are in that world, about, when you're buying a house, what should it look like? So we learned a lot there. We learned a lot. I learned a lot through being also a mechanical engineering technologist. I did work in industry, and I worked with code and began to understand that better. So this little journey led us to this home inspection company. And that's, as you say, where we figured out that what we were calling out at home inspections was silly little stuff that people, if they just dealt with it, would have sold their house faster. And in this market, we all know that there are challenges, with the economy being the way it is in Alberta, and the struggles that we're facing. It doesn't take a lot of time, effort, and money to make sure that the biggest investment that you make in your life is in good condition. It's good for you. You sleep better at night. You have peace of mind. But also, when you go to sell it, The realtor's going to tell you, oh my God, this place is in fantastic condition. It's going to be so easy to sell. We won't have to go back to renegotiation after the home inspection. It all goes smoothly. I know from what I've been doing over the past couple of years that those are the houses that sell quickly.
Yeah.
So in that market, when a house is in good condition, it's not even a question. There have been competitive offers on those houses, even where things are like this right now. The crappy houses are houses that investors buy for bottom dollar, so they can quickly rent them out. And so if that was your home, you're not going to get what you want for it. But as I say, going back to that sleeping at night thing. So yeah, we learned that, and that's what led us to nurture my home. I was talking with my good friend Angel Iverson, and she builds houses. Her family has built houses. So where I did the DIY thing, her family actually did a multi-million-dollar company building houses. And she said, I have the same concern. People don't know how everything works in their house. Even if you don't want to get on the tools, she said, you need to understand what's there and how you can take action now before things fail. So that's where Nurture My Home came from. How can we give Calgarians a way to trust advice? You can go to YouTube tomorrow and today, and you can look up, pick any subject. How often should I change my furnace filter? How do I control humidity in my house? And you'll get all kinds of answers, but you don't know if you're getting the right one. You may be getting the wrong answer or the right answer for the wrong place. How you control humidity in Victoria is different than Calgary. So what we really need is local people with expertise that we can trust. And so that's what we're trying to bring together with Nurture My Home.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. And you know what? You tapped on such a good point, is because the climate is so different here. So that's exactly it. And the humidity, that's where you got to be careful, because in some houses, it's too hot, you're going to create some issues.
Absolutely. And I can tell you some stories. Check out my Instagram for Oxford Inspections, for our inspection company. There's lots of great pictures there.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You have to get the right answers where you're living for the house you have.
Yeah, exactly. I love you said that. So being proactive about home maintenance is not just pretty words. I like that you put this. It creates thousands of dollars in savings and real property value.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that you said that. And let's just talk here for a minute too about budgeting for maintenance should be part of any purchase plan. 3 to 5% rule. Let's talk about that.
You bet. So the 3 to 5% rule is basically this. You should expect to spend between 3 and 5% of the value of your home every year on maintenance. It's an average. Some years you're going to spend more. Maybe you need the roof replaced. Other years you're going to spend less. You just need routine maintenance on your mechanical systems, furnace, water heater, that kind of thing. But that's the average, 3 to 5%. When I say that to home buyers, they look at me like I smoked something funny. Is that a number you've heard before?
You know what? It's not. And I was calculating it in my head, but then I just think we replaced the roof last summer. We replaced the hot water tank. So it's been 15 years now. So,
Yeah. So the fact is, if you're prepared for that, my advice to everybody is, even if you're not spending that money, think of yourself as being in a condo and pay yourself a condo fee. Put a contingency budget together, stick it in your TFSA, or whatever other investment vehicle you have. I'm not a financial expert. Stick it somewhere where it matters, and get on the right side of the interest game. So all that condo fee is going to earn you interest, so that when you do need to replace your water heater or your windows or your front door or deal with a flood, whatever the situation is, you actually have a contingency fund, and now you're not paying interest on your credit card for that. So now I just saved you thousands of dollars, right?
I love that. Yeah.
That's just one thing that will save you thousands of dollars. It's also going to earn you some money. I mean, why not earn the interest?
Yeah.
But there's so many other things like that, where if you stay ahead of it, for example, wouldn't it be nice to be able to choose the water heater that you want, installed by the person you trust, at your convenience, while you still have hot water running in your taps and not all over your basement floor?
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. So water heaters last between 8 and 12 years. You can hang on to them longer, but have a plan. Have a pan there for when it fails so that it doesn't flow all over the floor. Be prepared to not have one for a while, and be prepared to pay a little more if you have to call someone in an emergency. Or, it's always a choice, or plan for replacement at 10 to 12 years.
Yes.
Get it maintained every year. And when your plumber says, don't think we're going to do another flush on that sucker, now you start shopping for a new one. And they'll be so happy to talk to you about that.
Yeah, exactly. And I love that you said like an annual flush, because that's a lot of people don't know that. And they don't know that with hot water. They don't, like, even furnace filters, like especially like even in our rental property, where we give her boxes of filters once a month, like change the filter. And I love that you said that because that is so critical, because I've heard a few people, I think there was like the one winter where it was like 4 neighbors in a row were calling us for who we know in the industry, because of course, been in the industry for years, on hot water tanks. And it was kind of funny because I had to laugh. And then it was like, then it happened to us. But I was lucky it didn't flood our basement or anything. But what happened was, and this you can answer this, because I was like, really? I never thought of it that way. So I went to have a shower and it was cold water. There's no hot water. And I thought, crap. So anyway, I just thought, maybe it's something else. Anyway, it wasn't a pilot light or anything. And so anyway, it was the hot water tank. So we called to have it replaced. And then, so we had it replaced. Then all of a sudden, the water now, when you open the taps, is super, super freaking hot. Like even in the shower, I've had to adjust, like I have that setting, had to adjust it. So that actually told me that our hot water tank was failing for a bit, because it wasn't as hot. And it was actually a period of time where it wasn't as hot, but I didn't realize that until we replaced it. And I was like, oh. Yeah,
they fail. We think they fail suddenly, but the failure happens over a period of time. And when it gets to the point where that little valve is leaking, you're past where it should have been replaced. Definitely. If there's rust all along the bottom of it and, there's drip marks, then you're past that point. Absolutely. They fill up with sediment over time and they don't work as well. So they get less and less efficient. You get less and less water and you get less and less temperature. So do you want to live like that? They're not that expensive. And if you plan for it and you understand that that's part of the cost of ownership, it's going to be better for you. It certainly does make a difference. I consider water heaters to be a bit of a consumable. I tell my clients in home inspection that you shouldn't be running away from a house you like because of a water heater. Like, that's not really the thing. But it does make a difference when a home buyer sees that you've maintained things. And if the water heater is only 4 years old and not 24 years old, that they do feel better about the rest of the things that are going on in the house.
Yeah. You know what? That is such a good point. Because even when we were buying our rental property, there was the log on the furnace and the hot water tank for when it had been maintained. And that was a big one for us, right? Because otherwise you have no idea. And it's to me, after being in the industry, it's all about maintenance, preventative maintenance for sure. So with you, what's your advice you can give? Because you also have your home builder, your home maintenance program, right? I know I get the emails for our rental property. It's like, check this, do that. And I actually read them.
That's awesome. So when we started with this idea, we actually started with it inside Oxford Inspections, and we used a third-party application, which you're referring to. When we started Nurture My Home, we began to look at how we could bring this in-house and make it more comprehensive. I personally am not a fan of getting a bunch of emails. I don't read them, and I know a lot of people don't. But being able to open up an app and have a checklist that's geared to your house makes a whole lot more sense. And that's where we developed, and it's a beta, it's a new app, but we developed an app for Nurture My Home. If you have an iPhone, you can download that for free and use it. And we want feedback. What we're trying to do is get a few people to try it out so that we can figure out how best to move forward with the types of ideas we have. We have a whole roadmap for how we'd like to develop it, but it really matters how our clients feel about it. So if anybody wants to try that, you just go to the iPhone app store and download Nurture My Home and just give it a shot. It asks you a few questions, like what type of furnace filter you have, because the type of filter you have determines how often you need to change it. And then it gives you a sense of what you need to do. And then it's really, really easy. You open the app, it's just a checklist. It's just your honey-do list. And the beauty of this is that if, for example, we tell you on that checklist that one of the items you have to do is to change the batteries in your smoke detector, and you've never done that before, you might be a little reticent to try. So if you click on the item, you're going to get a video from a local electrician saying, here's how you do it, and showing you. And if you have further questions, that electrician is available to answer your questions. For people who are interested in subscribing, you can get that kind of access all the time. You can ask any silly question you want to the professionals in our network, and they're not going to charge you a cent for that answers.
Okay, so that's all part. Okay, so let's talk about nurture your home more. Let's get into that deeper, because that just blows me away. I'm like, oh my god, okay, I need the app.
Yeah, try it. So the whole idea behind Nurture My Home is how can we solve that problem? So thinking, and you've probably heard this too, Sean, with regards to trying to get a business going, is thinking about the pains and the gains. So it's a pain for our customers to maintain their homes, otherwise they would. If it was easy, we'd all do it, right? We're busy. We don't have time. We don't know enough. We don't know who to trust or how to get the answers. And we are inundated with information that may or may not be good for us. Mm-hmm. So that was where this all started. How can we make this easier? So our model, our plan is to offer a subscription-based service where you get access to everything you could ever think of needing with respect to your home, answers to questions, people that you can trust in the local network, tutorial videos. And if we can get this to work the way we'd love to build that out on an AI, and that's artificial intelligence in the background, so that it gets what you need and helps you get that answer right away. And we may even be able to see a future where if you had a question about your furnace, so imagine this, we're looking to have a don't panic button on the app. Your furnace is not working. It's Christmas Eve. You've got family coming to stay and you've no heat. Yeah. What do, right? Hit the don't panic button. Yeah. And the first thing you would get is an AI that's going to triage you through the process. Okay, take a deep breath. You don't have heat. Do you smell gas? Your answer is no. All right, next step. If the answer is yes, they're going to direct you on how to safely turn off your gas and leave your house and call ATCO. Yeah. Because if you smell gas, that's an emergency. Yeah. If you don't smell gas, do you have an alternate source of heat? Well, why, yes, I have a gas furnace. Go turn that on. Now breathe. You have heat. Let's see if we can figure out what the problem is. The top 5 reasons your furnace might not be working are bang, 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 bang. And we'll show you how to test that. Let's say you still have a problem. You've gone through that. That's all the things that you can do as a homeowner. Right. Now you can press a tech support button and a live tech comes on. If we get this the way we'd like it, that live tech would be working with you in augmented reality, meaning you could take your phone and hold it up to your furnace and you could see in your phone what they're telling you to do. Okay. Right. And in the age of COVID, how important is it that you can get that kind of hands-on care right in your home? Yeah. That's the vision we have for the future. Now, right now, that is not the app. The app is a checklist with some videos and some words. But that is where we'd like to take this. And so as a subscriber, you can get that kind of, oh my goodness, I don't know if things are going to fall by, water's running out somewhere or things are leaking or the problem happened. How do I solve it? You can get that kind of help. And if you get that kind of help, like think of the furnace, you didn't have to call somebody out on after hours on Christmas Eve for like lots of dollars, right? So that saves you money. But also you can take it away from the emergency situation into like, is this a problem or how would I do this? Yeah. I'm looking at my sink and it's leaking and I need to replace those pipes underneath. Like what is a proper arrangement for all those pipes underneath? What is that supposed to look like? What's a P-trap? Someone said something about a P-trap. What is a P-trap? So we'd like to have that all available to you as well. Booking for these local experts and a way that you can trust those experts. So that's the other big piece, right? Oh, wow. That is so huge. So huge. I love that you brought that up because you know what? That is a big one to be able to trust experts, and especially for people who are out there that don't know, right? Yeah. Who don't know any different, because a lot of people get taken advantage of and a lot of things go sideways and done wrong. So I'm so glad you brought that up because that's near and dear to my heart, right? After being in the business for 25 years, is being able to
trust those contractors that are coming into your home, that they have your best interest in mind, and it's not. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and that they know what they're doing. So, here's one that I faced myself. I know a few things, but I still like this is why this is a challenge. Our neighbor's air conditioning unit got damaged because the foundation guys piled dirt on top of it. And we had to find a company that was going to replace that air conditioner. Now, here's the question. Which trade is qualified to install air conditioning units?
And I know it's like, well, it's refrigeration.
Is it though? Is it
HVAC? I would say, right? But I don't. But so, what are you going to say? Because I would think of a refrigeration mechanic, right?
That's what I thought.
But I have to say, I know some of the codes and things have changed. So.
Yeah, exactly. So this is the thing. I went and I read the Trades Act because I needed to know the answers to this question, and it was driving me nuts. And the reason it was driving me nuts is that I went through 2 contractors where I asked them to demonstrate that they were qualified, and what they gave me didn't seem to make sense. The first one was an electrician. I thought, okay, how does I mean, I get, the electrical, but how are you qualified to handle refrigerants? Because you have to have certification to handle refrigerants. The chemicals that go in your air conditioning unit are dangerous. And so only certain people can do that. So what I learned through all of that is that sheet metal workers are trained and qualified and certified to install air conditioning units. And the reason why is because sheet metal workers are the HVAC guys that come to do all the duct work and set up your furnace and all that. So, I have a fantastic, go ahead.
I was wondering when you said that, because I was in the industry for years, right? And I was thinking of all my contractors that I worked with, right? But most of them, they had the sheet metal guys for the furnace, the sheet metal, but they typically, for air conditioning, they typically had a refrigeration, like one refrigeration mechanic. Yeah. But was that one always out installing? No. So go on.
No. Yeah. And that's exactly it. Yeah. A refrigeration mechanic is who I thought, and of course they should be qualified. I didn't read their rules, but I just assumed that they're qualified because that's exactly the kind of person that would be handling refrigerants every day. And yes, absolutely. But most companies that will install air conditioning units don't necessarily have a refrigeration mechanic on their staff. So, as a consumer, how do you know that you can trust the person? If he says he can do it, well, he might be able to do it, but maybe the person doing the work isn't really qualified. And I don't want to see that. I'm a mechanical engineering technologist. I'm a member of the Association of Science and Engineering Technologists, which means that I've demonstrated that I have proficiency in my trade, in my skill. And I have to continue to train in that in order to maintain that certification. So what we're doing with Nurture My Home is we're creating a criteria for excellence. And that means that as a tradesperson or as a service provider for people, for residential customers, you have to demonstrate that you have the same sort of care and attention to that ongoing professionalism that an engineer would have to have. So we have a team of excellent tradespeople who are our advisory board, and their job is to determine what excellence means for an electrician, for a plumber, for an exterior finishing contractor, for a roofer, because that way you can trust everyone in our network, and everyone in our network can trust each other. So you have a team that really cares. A team that continues to learn. These things change all the time. I mean, how they used to install windows versus how they install them today are very different. Yeah. And you could make a mistake if you were doing it yourself, or you could make a mistake in choosing somebody that thought they knew what they were doing, but it's been 15 years since they went and did a code course.
Yeah. Well, and that's just it. Like you said, that the codes changed even when I was there. I don't even know what the codes are anymore because they changed. So before it was like this trade from this part of the gas line to this part of the gas line was this trade. And then, and that's all changed from even what that was, I don't know, 10 years ago. I think even 5 years ago, there's some code changes. So it's crazy. And so for a homeowner, you would have no idea, right?
Exactly. I mean, I just had a conversation today in this property, in this renovation. I'm ordering some stairs, and so this was a new experience for me as a home inspector. I was taught the code at the time, which was that stair treads and risers follow the 7-11 rule, and that means they rise 7 inches and they run 11 inches.
Yeah,
that's changed. So this guy's like, oh, well, no, we have a different way of this too. And so, you have to be up on it. Even if I might have a sense, and I've gone to YouTube and, read how you build stairs, but to be there with a pro who does it every single day, and that's what he does for a living.
Yeah.
He just knows right now, we're going to have to do this and this and this and this and this, and then you'll be good.
Yeah.
And so knowing that you can trust that person, and I got that person through other people that do this for a living. So I feel good about what they do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I love that. So for you right now, so you have your Oxford inspections, you do renovations.
Not professionally.
Not professionally. You do your own renovations as part of also being an investor, right?
Yeah, don't hire me to do renos. I rely quite heavily on the advice of the professionals around me, but I do definitely have my hands in a lot of things. We've done a lot of stuff, but I wouldn't be, I'm not a licensed contractor.
There you go. So it's okay. So I was giggling. I'm like, so definitely for the inspections and then nurture my home.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. Is there anything else you want to add, my dear? I'm just trying to look at my notes here. What did we cover? Because I know you have like all kinds of, oh my goodness, we talked about trustworthy pros, and I know, like, I'm so grateful for you, because even when, we had the issue with our one rental property we thought it was the roof leaking. Like, we wasn't sure what was leaking, and it ended up being the install of the dishwasher.
And we hunted high and low. I mean, and in doing so, we did find some other challenges, whether or not they resulted in problems. We can't say for sure, but and that's just it. Even if you're not buying a home, the home you're living in, you're not really aware of what's going on in it. You've been there a while. That's something that home inspectors can help you with. We can come and give you a baseline. And it's a really good idea, because that gets you started on planning home maintenance. And whether or not you're signing up for a Nurture My Home subscription, or you're hiring somebody to do your maintenance, because that's something you can do. If you don't have time, you don't have interest in getting engaged with this at all, there's lots of companies in Calgary that for a fee, and they're not that expensive, they will come and actually do all of that stuff for you. So whatever you do, whether you're going to pay attention to yourself or whether you're going to find somebody, my advice to you is pay attention to your home. Get a plan in place. Be proactive about home maintenance. Because if all your ducks are in a row and you've got a history, like you mentioned before, a history of maintenance, just like when you buy a car, right? If you bought a used car, you don't want to buy a used car with no maintenance records. It's the same thing with a house. If that's all there, you're going to feel better about it, and buyers will feel better about it. So your house will sell more quickly. You won't have as much negotiation and niggling over silly little things.
That's exactly it. And I love that you said that, because typical homeowners, you buy the house because all the pretty stuff. I mean, even when I went, and it's funny because it was just, again, my background, we'd go look at show homes, and I'd go look at the furnace. Like, I would go look at the mechanical system right away.
Yes.
That's what me and Bernie would do right away. We'd go check out that. I was like, nope, granite countertops, whatever that comes. I want to see what the furnace is. I want to see who installed it, because there are people, and being in the industry, it's like, if they put that furnace in,
Oh yeah. Like, it is the furnace level. This is a big one. Your high efficiency furnace is the furnace level. Because if the furnace is not level, chances are that your heat exchanger could be in trouble. And there's a huge discussion about that in this industry right now.
Yeah. And depending on the manufacturer, right? Some need to be sloped to the front. Some need to be this. Some need to be that. Like, it's like, and knowing that, because again, right, it's like, there's so much, and we buy houses because we think, oh yeah, they're so pretty. And then we move in, and then we just forget about everything. We forget about the maintenance of the furnace or the air conditioner, the filters. And like, for us, we have an HRV. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another thing that needs to be maintained too. Right. And so I love that we're having these conversations, because even for us, like me and Bernie, It's like I have to sometimes say, Bernie, have you done this? Have you done like we actually because
Yeah.
the industry he services the furnace. So but I actually it's funny and then you got your water, right? Like you got your RO or whatever water system and so it's just having those little check sheets and I do look at ours and but even like we have what do you call it zoned heating as well. Our house is zoned, and then we also have like a steam humidifier that's separate altogether, right? And so sometimes I'll go downstairs and if I see red lights, then it's like there's a red light. That's not supposed to be red. What's happening?
Yeah, it would be nice to have a day, and you know, I envision that. It'd be nice to have a day when, you know, Alexa or Siri can just tell you that it's time to do those things. Yeah, maybe that'll happen. But in the meantime, if you download our app, it does actually pop up, and all you then have to remember to do is open the app and look.
Perfect.
And you check the thing off when you've done it. It pops down to the bottom of the list. It pops back up again when it's time.
See, I love that. And the actual app is called Nurture My Home.
Nurture My Home. Yeah. It's available for iPhone and iPad. It's not available on Android. We will get there eventually, but we want to get all the bugs worked out first.
Okay. Well, I just don't like the way I spell nurture. Oh, because I missed an R.
Yeah, not neuter. There's that
Neuter
extra R.
Nurture. There you go. See, it's again my glasses. It's the.
We make that mistake all the time. We printed brochures, and I thought I checked them. My business partner has much more attention to detail than me. She should have checked them. We printed 5,000 brochures with Neuter My Home on them.
Neuter. Oh my God, that's so funny. I love it. I love it. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Business advice, check the lettering.
Okay. Well, this has been awesome. Thank you so much. I love this. It's just great talk with you. I'll get you to stay on here. So everybody, go check out Kerry's app, Nurture My Home. And if you're in the Calgary area and you need a home inspector, by all means, reach out to Kerry at Oxford Inspections. I vouch for them. They are the best. They've helped us. Thank you for being here. This is so great. Take care, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.